Hello, good day everyone. So, sorry kayo kung dili ta ka synchronous meeting karon no kay ang uban siguro unstable ilang mga connections tungod sa ulan nga kaninang hapon pa nagsugod. So, today um let's have a lesson about the chapter 2 mathematical language and symbols. So here are the things we are going to talk about. First, we are going to talk about the mathematical language. Mathematical language is precise, concise, and powerful. So second is expressions versus sentences, and third is the conventions in mathematical language, which is the PEMDAS rule. So, first, let's learn about mathematical language. So, mathematical language is the system used to communicate mathematical ideas. So, kung naay Bisaya communication, English communication, we also have mathematical communication, which use mathematical language. So, the language of mathematics makes it easy to express the kinds of thoughts that mathematicians like to express. So para madali lang express resulti kung unsay gusto i-express sa mga mathematicians. So para pud sa tua, 'di ba? Pag ikuan mong math, example, math problem naka a number more than 1 is equal to 4 pero naka English language sila murag lisod siya i-express dayon murag una-unaon pa nimo unsa na siya na equation tapos samot in terms of answering lisod jud siya no. So um nay laing language ang mathematics para dali lag express. So next, characteristics of math is precise. So mathematical ideas are being developed informally and being done formally, uh, with necessary and sufficient conditions stated up front and restricting the discussion to a particular class of objects. So precise is able to make very fine distinction, or it is clear. So next, concise is direct to the point. Concise is able to say things briefly. Next is powerful, able to express complex thoughts with relative ease. So allows easier penetration of the subject and the development of more powerful methods. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, language. Language are ways of transforming information and meaning. Mathematics is a language which is developed using symbols. So, mathematics uses symbols instead of words. And the language of mathematics was designed about what things, like numbers, sets, functions, and others, and to do with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and etc. So, mathematics uses symbols instead of words. So, mathematics uses the basic operations. Symbol stands for values, x and y, or kaning mga letters kay nagstani siya naa kay kwaon dili dapi. Nay missing number onya muna yung representation x and y, and may have special symbols like pi equals less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and greater than and or equal to. So next is the mathematical language. So letter convention, uppercase versus lowercase. So we use lowercase for variables like x and y, or counting values like m or n. So in the uppercase, mm, however, in the uppercase, it is used for sets. For example, set A is equal to 1, 2, 3. So using uppercase A makes it easier to tell if it is a set. So uppercase for sets, lowercase for variables or counting values. So now we are going the to review the integers, particularly when we multiply or divide and adding or subtracting integers. So as what you can see here, two positives is equal to a positive. Next, two negatives is equal to a positive. Next, um, however, positive and negative is equal to negative. Negative and positive is equal to negative. So therefore, what can we say about multiplying and or dividing integers? So as what we can see, if it's different sign, like this one and the middle, so positive times negative and negative times positive, it's equal to negative. So different sign is equal to negative. Next one, same sign, all are positive, all are negative. The sign that we will use for this is, yes, positive. Next, adding integers. Wait, I will erase it. Erase, erase, erase. Okay. So adding integers, just look at the circle. So um positive and no, no, yeah, positive and positive, there's no problem, you just copy the sign. Positive, negative times negative, no problem, you just copy the sign. So therefore, multiply adding or subtracting integers is the same or different sa multiplication or division. Hmm. So it has a different rule, no? So when adding integers, if they have the same sign, when they have the same sign, therefore it depends on the sign, on the common sign. Okay, depends on the common sign. For example, positive and positive equals positive, negative and negative is equal to negative. However, for the different sign, so as what you can see, the circle here, circle positive is bigger than circle negative. So therefore, we will use the sign for positive because positive is much bigger. So next, positive plus negative. So as what we can see, the negative circle is much bigger than the positive circle. Therefore, we use the negative. So if it is different sign, it depends also, but depends on the bigger number. On the bigger number. Okay, bigger number. Next, let's go here. They have the same sign, positive and positive. So 8 plus 7 is 15. So next, they have different signs. I don't know, same sign but negative. So copy the negative sign and then add. Copy negative sign and then add 15. So next is if um so positive 8 and negative 7, they are same or different. Correct. Different sign. And whose sign are we going to follow? The positive or the negative? Okay. Correct. We will use the positive. And since they are different, we will subtract them. If the sign is different, then we will subtract. If the sign is the same, we will add. So this is different. So 8 plus -7, or cancel na ni. 8 minus 7 is 1, and a positive 1 because it is bigger. So next is 7 plus -8. So are they the same or different? Okay, correct. They have different sign. And what will we do? Will we add the two numbers, or minus? Okay, we will minus. So 7 minus 8 is equal to 1, and the sign we are going to follow is negative. So -1. Next, multiplication or division. 2 times 4 is equal to 8, because the same sign. 2 times -4, however, is equal to -8 because they are different. Next, -2 times 4 is -8 also because the signs are different. And -2 times -4 is equal to +8 because they have the same sign. Okay. So that would be all for the review of adding or subtracting and multiplying and dividing integers. So now next, let's learn about expressions versus sentences. So expression, a mathematical expression, is a finite combination of symbols that is well defined according to the rules that depend on the context. So next one, wait. Symbols can be designate numbers, variables, operations, functions, brackets, punctuations, and groupings to help determine order of operations and other aspects of mathematical syntax. So, an expression does not state a complete thought, and it cannot be determined if it is true or false. So, expression, mathematical expression, doesn't state a complete thought, or the statement can leave you hanging. So, kuan siya, kung kuan siya, kanang ipariha siya sa English language. So, sentence versus phrases, ang expression kay muna siya ang phrase. Ano ang sentence kay complete. So, sentences makes a statement about two expressions, either using numbers, variables, or a combination of both. So next, it is a correct arrangement of mathematical symbols that states a complete thought and can be determined whether it's true, false, sometimes true, or sometimes false. So sentences has its equal or less than or greater than sign. So example expressions versus sentences. Expressions versus sentences. So expression 2a, 2 plus 3, and 4 minus 2. Next one. Okay. So expressions no kanang 2a, unsa na nimong 2a? Kulang siya. 2 plus 3, unsaon po na nimo? So equals ana. 4 minus 2, ana. Balik kulang siya ang expressions. Ang sentences, however, is complete. For example, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, 2x minus 1 is equal to 3. So, ang sentences kay na siya equal sign. Next, now, let's have the introduction to algebra. So, algebra is a lot like arithmetic. So, arithmetic uses the four basic fundamental operations, or pang elementary nga level, which are the multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. But in algebra, it introduces a new element, which is the element of the unknown, or what we call variable. So in arithmetic, makita na to sa kuan katong um assignment siguro sa inyong mga manghod from grades 1 to 3 inani ang porma nila. 8 plus 7 is equal to 15. So ang box kay di mailan na siya na muna ang gipangayo. So next, algebra. In algebra, however, we use symbol. Next, symbols are the letters in the alphabet. So example, 8 plus 7 is equal to x. 15 is equal to x. And x is equal to 15. Ana. Okay. So next, let's learn algebra vocabulary. So kato atong naton ano about expression ng equation. Ang equation kay dala na ang equal sign. An expression kay katong kuan walay dala nga equal sign. Dili ra kutob. So next, the variable is katong any letters in the alphabet. So variable, and this stands for unknown values. So, munang variable and ang katapad sa variable, that is what we call coefficient. Ang variable kay kuan letters, a coefficient kay iyahang beshiwap, yang tapad. So, ang constant naman is the numbers. Kato, sana oy. Kanang murag nag-iisa lang siya ng number. That is the constant. So now I want you to determine if they are like or unlike terms. So next, 2x and 3x. So 2x and 3x is a like term because they have the same variable, which is x. So you can only say if they are like terms if they have the same variables. So next, 4y and 6x, are they like terms? Okay, good. They are unlike terms because, yes, they have the different variables. One is x, one is y. Next, 2a and 8b, are they like terms? Okay, it's a no. Why? Yes, because the variables are different. Next, 8D and 5D, are they like terms? Yes, because they have the same variable. Okay, so same variable D. Lastly, 9y and 3y, they are like terms because they have the same variable y. So I ask you about this like terms because it is it is needed. The skills is needed when adding or subtracting algebra. So, in adding or subtracting algebra, for like terms, add and copy the variable. For unlike terms, don't add, but copy the unlike terms. So, example, 2x plus 3x, are they like terms? Yes, they are. So, first, copy the variable, and then um, add the coefficients. So, am I correct? Yeah, coefficient. So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Therefore, 5x. Next, 4y plus 6y, are they like terms? Okay, they are unlike terms, so we can't add anything here. So, mura din siya ang answer. Next, 2a plus 8b, are they like terms? Okay. 2A 2A plus 8B is hmm, unlike terms, so we will not add anything. So stay still. Next, 8D plus 5D is equal to, okay, 8D plus 5D is equal to 13D. Okay, 13D. So, they are like terms. So, kuan, 13D. And next subtraction, same gapon. 2x and 3x is like terms. So, we will subtract. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So, this is negative x. Now, next one, sa multiplication pod, kay kuan, different po siya rule sa addition or subtraction, no? So, dili mag-matter sa multiplication kung kuan ba siya, pareha kung like terms ba siya or dili. Okay. Same variable, add the exponents of the same variable, multiply the coefficient. So, 2 times 3 first is 2 times 3 is equal to 6. And then x. So, kanini siya no? 1, ano na siya, imagine 1 and 1. So, pag pareha siya variables, we will add the exponents. So, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. 6x squared. So next, 4y squared times 6x. 4 times 6 is 24. And pwede ba na ito ma-add iyang kuan variables? Hindi na ito pwede ma-add ang exponents sa variables. So x, y squared. Next, 2a times 8b squared. 2 times 8 is 16. Tapos pwede mo na ito ma-add. Hindi na ito pwede ma-add. So, ab squared ang answer. Ana. So, next one is division naman. So, sa division, first i-divide. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then, kung sa multiplication is i-plus ang exponent. Sa division naman, i-minus. So, 2 minus 2 minus murag na imaginary 1 is 1. So, equals 3a. Ana. So, skip lang nato ng kuan. Kabalo ko na kabalo mo ani. And now let's go to the conventions in mathematical language. So, mathematical convention is a fact, name, notation, or usage which generally agreed upon by mathematicians. So, it uses the principle of PEMDAS, which is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So, ano siya no? And pag kita nimong parenthesis ug exponent sila imong iuna, and pag multiplication and division naman sila pod imong unahon. Pero naikuan ani na pag pag multiplication and division na lang ang nabilin, then we will solve from left to right. Regardless kung mas nauna pa si divide kaysa multiply. Ana. So next, add or subtract, pareha gihapon, tanawon mo siya naka-red. Meaning ana, we will kung sila na lang bilhin, addition and subtraction, then we will solve from left to right regardless uh of the kuan. Kung subtraction ang nauna, inahan dyan na to siya. Basta naka left to right atong real. So, mura to akong lesson for today. I hope you listen all throughout the presentation. So, thank you so much for listening, and for your questions, kindly ask them in the GC. So thank you so much and goodbye, class.